We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning and welcome to the May 2nd, 2024 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair this year, and also joining me today is Commissioner Aaron Mays. Good morning.
Good morning.
Commissioner Bill Rippon. Good morning.
Good morning.
County Clerk, Ms. Cindy Beck, and our County Councilor, Ms. Record.
Good morning.
Ms. Beck, what do we have first?
Well, very first thing we have is a birthday. A birthday coming. A matter of fact, it's more than just one person, but I think his spouse's birthday is as well on Saturdays, is correct?
Saturday, yeah.
So it's Commissioner May's birthday on Saturday, so join me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Commissioner Mays. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Thank you.
Ms. Beck,
Thank
who will
you.
take up this tradition when you decide to leave us?
It's on the list. It says, minutes, keeping of the choras, all this, singing happy birthdays.
Oh,
It's just
part of the job. Yeah.
It's a job, it's part of the job description, yeah.
Chris, are you stepping up? No.
Very good. What do we
Okay.
have next?
The first item under presentations, Board of County Commissioners recognition of Capital Federal's Foundation and Parks for All Foundation working in collaboration as Capital Federal serves as the title sponsor for the 2024 Spirit of Kansas scheduled at Lake Shawnee.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Parks Recreation Department. So happy to be here again this year. This is, I believe, this is either the 22nd or the 23rd year in a row that Capital Federal has been our title sponsor for the Spirit of Kansas celebration on July 4th. This event would not be possible without their help, and they've just been great partners. And today I have with me the John Dicus, the CEO of Capital Federal, and I have Tammy Dishman, who's the Capital Federal Foundation president. And I'd like to invite either or all of you up if you'd like to say a few words. I think we've got a check presentation we'd like to make, and maybe take a picture or two on your way.
I don't think I have a whole lot to say that I haven't said the last 22 years here. So, yeah, other than we're excited again to be a part of the foundation with the county on putting on the fireworks display. The 4th of July celebration is always something that's very important to all of us. As we've gone through these last 22 years and going forward, it's something that's a lot of fun that you put on with the Festival of Kansas. I'm trying to think of all the names that we've had over for the years we've done it, but it's a lot of fun for everybody that weekend, and culminating with the fireworks display, and we're proud to be a part of that with all of you, and look forward to another great year this year. And we've gotten more creative in our checks that we're themed now, so we have a check in amongst all the fireworks. So with that, I'll present the check for $25,000 for the fireworks.
Get into the ATM. Well, that's gonna work.
Trying to keep down on the check.
Counselor. You're gonna spend it. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Thank you. That's right.
Can't wait to see the commercials on TV with John and Kevin here.
Well, they usually have me stand on a stool so that I'm the same height. So, thank you very much for all of that. Ms. Beck, our next item.
Next item is item 3, consent agenda.
Are there any questions or is there a motion?
I'll move that we approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
This morning, a couple items of note, under infrastructure, $161,524.66 to Consolidated Rural Water District Number 1 for water line relocation at 29th and Auburn. That is for the middle school area out there. And then under District Court, $141,249.85 to Converge One Incorporated. That is for the court data center upgrade. That one is actually paid for with ARPA funds. And then the totals for today, $4,032,248.99. I don't have any questions or concerns about any of this, and I would move for approval if you don't.
Second.
Commissioner Mays for approval, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item A3, acknowledge receipt and consider approval of the financial commitment, irrevocable standby letter of credit for Sterling Chase Subdivision Number 5, Shawnee County, Kansas Street Benefit District, Phase 1 pursuant to Resolution 93-136. And Commissioners, this is a requirement under this standing Resolution 93-136 for, to make sure that there is, that the developer, whose this case is the Daltmeyer, Roman Meyer, whatever, there, that if the property would not be, they would not sell the lots, we would have something to fall back on in case they, to cover the costs for the development. But everything is in order. Public Works Director has verified that the dollar amounts are all correct. The County Counselor's Office has reviewed it as to their approval for financial security according to the resolution requirements. And I think a little later in the agenda, the Public Works Director will be coming forth with the prospective contract for this, to get this going. So I think Mr. Daltmeyer and his team are kind of anxious to get this going too.
I think so. So is there a motion?
I'll move to approve. Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B, Public Works, number 1, consider a request to exchange $688,733.97 in 2024 federal fiscal year funds for $619,860.57 in state transportation funds under the Federal Aid Fund Exchange Master Agreement.
Courtney House, Director of Public Works. This is my annual request to exchange $1 of federal funds for 90 cents of state funds. This year, the amount that we will receive will be $619,860.57. I intend to allocate this funds to our 29th and Auburn Road project. Any questions? I look forward to them.
Questions for Kurt?
None.
And Kurt, I just for 30 seconds, the reason why we do the exchange is?
Because then there's no strings tied to the funds. We
Okay.
can spend them how we wish, as
Okay.
long as it's for transportation.
Okay. As opposed to other regulations that we might have to comply with?
Yes.
Okay. So, with that being said, I'll make a motion to approve the request.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Motion passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B2, consider request to approve a project budget and to solicit bids for the construction of a segment of Northwest Beaumont Street and Northwest 53rd Terrace located within Sterling Chase Subdivision Number 5. The project costs will be funded via a 31-lot benefit district created under Resolution Number 2024-22.
Courtney House, Director of Public Works. Yes, I'm here before you, asking you to approve a project budget. I don't know if technically I need to do that because that was done when the benefit district was created through bond council. But just to be consistent, I'm asking you to approve a project budget of 1.3 million approximately, and to allow us to solicit bids for construction. As was recently just completed, the developer has provided a letter of credit for 30% of the $1.3 million. And with that, I look forward to your questions.
Any questions for Kurt?
I would move for approval.
I'll second. Motion for approval by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you, Kurt. Our next item.
Item C, Stormont Vale Event Center. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-158-2024, amendment to the management agreement between Shawnee County and Global Spectrum LP, DBA OVG 360.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kellen Seitz, Stormont Vale Event Center, and OP Group. The amendment to the management agreement before you this morning is to reestablish the event show fund. The event show fund is an account utilized to offset any negative financial losses on any risk events that we produce at the facility. That would be something to the effect of a purchased concert in the event that the revenues do not make up for the budgeted amount made. We would utilize this show fund to subsidize some of that loss. The goal of this fund is to continue to grow this fund as opposed to simply just pulling money out of that fund to cover losses on events. This would allow us to also put money back in to that fund for the events where we overproduce revenue to budget on some of those events. So an example of that, if we're budgeted to generate about $28,000 in revenue on a concert and we actually produce 35, we will take a portion of that over budgeted revenue and put it into this account to continue to grow that account for the future. Happy to answer any questions you might have on that, and Jennifer Sauer's here to answer any questions on the funding source for that.
I did just want to clarify, so in order to make the, to make it more functional, we are changing how the fund is set up in that we are establishing a separate UMB bank account so that the event center is able to do these transfers themselves within their own funding. And we will transfer the funds in for the initial startup, and then they'll be able to make these internal transfers.
Okay. Questions for Kellen or for Jennifer? Okay.
I'll move for approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays,
Second.
second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item C2, consider approval of a bid in the amount of $129,983 and to enter into a contract with Custom Sheet Metal and Roofing for the installation of 2 HVAC rooftop units utilizing capital improvement program funds.
Good morning, Commissioners. Matt Rockers, Director of Operations, Stormont Vale Event Center. We received bids back from one company, Custom Sheet Metal and Roofing, for the project that we sent out to bid. It came back at $129,000, $129,983. We had about 7 different companies come out and look at the project. Custom Sheet Metal was the only one that did submit. So we'd like to get that approved and get into contract with the counselor's office.
Commissioner Mays?
So Matt, the current unit is on the ground.
Correct.
And this was to put it on the roof.
Correct.
Is there a reason, what's the reasoning behind that?
So currently we have our air handling system in the attic of Heritage Hall, and the air conditioners are just ground mounted. Both of those units are being replaced, the attic unit and the ground unit. In order to do that, one package unit has to be able to tie into the ductwork. You can't put the air conditioning system in the attic, and you can't tie the ductwork into a ground mounted unit outside. So by putting it on the roof, it allows us to have heat and AC all on one unit and tie into the existing ductwork to keep our costs lower.
And is the roof strong enough to hold it?
As part of this bid, they're actually doing some structural upgrades to hold that additional weight up on the roof.
Okay, and did we look at bidding it both ways? Like, I mean, was there,
We did. I actually looked at putting air handlers back in the attic and replacing the AC units. The estimated cost on that was about $240,000.
okay, so this is gonna be a lower price?
This
than
is our much more efficient way of doing what we want to do.
But this does change the appearance of Heritage Hall. Now, when you pull up to Heritage Hall, you're gonna see an air conditioning unit sticking out of the roof.
That is correct. It will be, what they call a packaged unit. So it's a sheet metal box on the roof, on each side of west and east.
I think that, people are gonna wanna know why it's looking a little bit different than it normally does.
Sure.
Have we had issues in the past with theft or vandalism?
We have at Ag Hall, they actually did steal a lot of copper out of one of those AC units about 6 or 7 years ago. So this does eliminate that. Also, it does eliminate, when we do have weddings that take place, a lot of times they utilize the gazebo, and we have to shut the air conditioners off because of their proximity to the gazebo and being on the ground right next to where all the seating is. So then that temperature in the building does spike during that 30-minute time period. Then we have to kick the AC units back on once everybody moves inside. So the noise and the aesthetic of what's on the ground will be much, much nicer.
Okay. Well, the plan is to replace the gazebo already.
Correct. But the air conditioning units won't be sitting right next to them.
Okay. What's your timeline on the installation or changing this?
They're hoping to have this done by mid to late July.
Okay, so you're gonna be doing the work during the summer?
Correct.
Won't that impact the majority of your summer wedding venue?
Currently, we do not have any events that this will impact on our schedule. So we're able to take one unit down, keep one unit running for any smaller events that we do have. So we'll be able to maintain.
Does that mean we don't have any weddings booked, or we just,
Yeah, I know we have some later in the fall. I'm not sure about the weddings this summer.
Yeah, I don't have that off the top of my head. We do have a few weddings booked for this year. I don't have exactly when those weddings are taking place on hand today.
I mean, we're working through the courthouse construction projects as we speak, and working with air conditioning and heating units and trying to do that. I'm just trying to foresee us, we're gonna have another repeat of our courthouse construction projects, talking about Heritage Hall. But, so, I guess I'm a little bit surprised that Heritage Hall is not more booked for the summer.
We are working, just to speak on that note real quick, we are developing packaging for both venue space rental and food and beverage for that space to try and consolidate those pricing levels down to become a little bit more competitive in the marketplace for the activation of more of that wedding content and private party content. We plan to be rolling that out in the next month, but as of right now, that season is a little bit slower this year than it has been in years past.
Okay. Other questions? All right. Pleasure of the commission.
I'd move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item D, Weed Department, number 1, consider approval of request to solicit bids for GPS tracking equipment.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Landon, Director of the Weed Department. A few weeks ago, Becky Neosy was in getting an item approved for land records funding. We had an item in there for this, so the Commission approved that. So this is the next phase of that. So we're just asking permission to go out for an RFP to fill the purchasing policy, and we will get back to you as soon as those bids come in and be seeking approval for the best bidder then.
Questions?
Happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Mays?
Yeah, so is Cartograph not able to do this?
It is not. And so what we've used in the past was Verizon Wireless, and they're great about just tracking our trucks, but we've had to marry our control systems into that. So the control systems track each one of the booms, the handgun with flow valves and all that. And so that's just not working well with Verizon. We had a billing issue last year when we switched over to their new system, so we are no longer with Verizon. And so this system that we're looking at, we've talked to several companies, and we're looking at something that does everything. The GPS tracking integrates all the connections for flow valves and booms that will print the report at the end of the day. It will just help us go completely digital and paperless. And so you sign into these systems at the beginning of the day. You tell them what truck you're in, your employee number, and then you pick your application type that you're doing, and it monitors all that, and at the end of the day it spits it out, and you can bill direct from that document. So I think it's more of just a complete all-in-one package.
John, how many trucks will have this?
All three of our full-size spray trucks will have it, and then all three Gators will have it. We will eventually, whenever the drone gets here and that gets taking off, then it'll be a small unit that's put on the drone. So commissioners, in the future, we will be able to pinpoint accuracy. It logs the minute they hit those spray buttons. It'll log what chemical it was, how many feet it was, the wind speed, the temperature, the whole 9 yards out of that truck. It'll keep it digitally. If we have any issues with a complaint that we've possibly killed a grape vineyard, we will know, whether we were in the area or not. If we're not spraying and just driving down the road, it will track that. But the minute they hit the button, it will show what chemicals dispensed. So overall, to answer your question, it will be 6 for now, and then whenever we figure out the drone thing, it will be 7.
Questions?
Do you have any idea how much this is gonna cost? I mean, I question the necessity a little bit, and so, I mean, if it's a low price, it makes sense, but I mean, I know we've been doing it for a long time without this, and so,
Correct.
I mean, if it saves us money in the long run, I'm all for it, but at the same time, if it's super expensive, and, I mean, is it a luxury at that point?
So I don't know, Commissioner Mays, that it's a luxury. It's more of I would say it's more of an insurance policy. As far as expense, it's pretty expensive. Just early indications from pricing some of the stuff that's out there, we're somewhere around the $30,000 range for all the equipment and the first year of the software that stores it.
Sorry, Jennifer Sauer, Financial Administrator. I just want to remind you, this is just, John is just seeking permission to go out for bid, so there would be another step before any purchase would be actually made. It would come back before you guys for that discussion once we know a definitive price.
Right, and I understand that. I just thought you might have a ballpark idea.
I
of
do,
what
and
you're looking
it's
at, so.
roughly, I think when, Becky, do you remember what the number was? Like 29 something, wasn't it? Yeah, it was in the range, and so that's as close as I can get for you for now.
Okay.
And I think, if I had to remember, I think breaking it out, it was about $4,000 a year for the software to track it and digitally record it and keep it all unlimited, and then the equipment was somewhere around the 22, 24 range.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of think of this as the cameras the sheriff uses in the car, the body cams and car cams. Honestly, is it a luxury? Yes. Is it probably money that needs to be spent? No, directly. But when it comes to someone like Rich Eckert, when it comes to the lawsuit saying we destroyed a field, or there's a question of you went down and sprayed my prize marigolds in front of my house, this will tell you unequivocally who did it. I know in the past we've had it with where trash trucks are, where public works vehicles are, questions of rocks hitting windshields, damage being done by snow plows. So it gives you the ability to basically defend ourselves, sadly, of proving what happened or what didn't happen if someone questions what one of John's people did. And has a problem with it. So it really is a true insurance policy down the road, not so much as a luxury.
Okay.
Commissioner Mays, I would just add too that last year we did have an incident where someone suspected us of killing about 10 acres of soybeans because they seen our truck down the road, and so we were able to go back and look at this, and yes, our truck was down the road, but they did not apply any herbicides. So after the investigation, we found out it was somebody else. It wasn't us. So it is a little added protection that helps us identify and eliminate us from the equation completely.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the request to go out for bid.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, John. Our next item.
Item E, Treasurer's Office, number 1, reclassification of Treasury Tax Office Manager 1 to Treasury Tax Administration Officer.
Good morning, Commissioners. Larry Moss, Shawnee County Treasurer. I'm proposing today to reclassify an existing position in the Treasurer's Office. We've done this in coordination with HR. I'm doing it at this time because I've been informed by my Deputy Treasurer that she's planning on retiring within the next year. That will be a loss of over 30 years of institutional knowledge. So it's important that we put somebody in a position to take over that function. This will cost about $7,000 for the existing budget. I can more than handle that, so there'll be no change in the budget. I have really two objectives. One is the short term, replacing the existing deputy treasurer. I also have a long term, is to develop a position where we can mentor possible deputy treasurers in the future, so that when we lose a deputy treasurer, either by planned or unexpected reasons, we have somebody who can step in. In addition, by having this position perform some of the duties on a periodic basis of the deputy treasurer, then we will better meet fraud prevention. That's considered a best practice in fraud prevention. So I would answer any questions you might have.
Questions?
Is it currently difficult for our deputy director to go on vacation at this point?
Well, actually, there was a time when she rarely took a vacation, and over the last few years, I've encouraged that she take a vacation so that we, in fact, have somebody who's looking at that position. But getting somebody trained to do what she does is another thing. And so that's what we're trying to do now, is put somebody in position so we can encourage her or he to be gone, and somebody else will step in, know what's supposed to be happening, and possibly see any fraud that may be occurring.
Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item E2, reclassification of Motor Vehicle Office Manager 1 to Motor Vehicle Customer Service Manager.
This is just a reclassification of an existing position. There's no change in pay. It's a motor vehicle position that's paid by motor vehicle funds 100%. All we've done in coordination with HR is change the job requirements to better reflect what they actually do, and to attract better candidates when we have an opening. Glad to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item F, Sheriff's Office, number 1. Sheriff's Office is requesting approval to purchase and install audio and video upgrades at the BARDA Training Complex to replace the original equipment from 2010. Approximate cost of $130,046 to be purchased from SciTech Media Systems off the Kansas contract number 42599, and would be paid by utilizing the ARPA SLFRF funds, Project 2021-39.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jeremy Rabb, Sheriff's Office, Director of Communications. We are seeking your approval to move forward with this project for the BARDA Training Complex. As stated, the current technology in there is from 2010. It is old, and the upgrades would provide new audio and video technology that would enhance training, collaborative type of training environment, as well as several other things. I'd be happy to answer any questions on that if I can.
Any questions?
Did you guys go out for bid on this? Or is this just sole source?
I would have to check on that, on this.
Commissioners, it's off the state of Kansas contract, so it's a bid project. The state bid it, and then we are able to access that contract.
Okay. Just looking through it, I mean, it seems kind of high, but, I don't know.
Jennifer, can you maybe clarify, I mean, state contract pricing versus requirements to go out for bid and?
Yeah, so the state of Kansas contracts, they are competitively bid. They are required to take low pricing on their contracts. And so if our purchasing policy states that you can utilize a state contract, and this dollar threshold, so long as we have commission approval to do so.
I mean, I know we already approved the project, so, assuming.
And I'm sorry, I was just going to clarify, in ARPA, we are required to follow our purchasing policy. So this would be following our purchasing policy, so.
So the original request, when this was approved, the project was approved, is this in line with the budget that was originally allocated?
Yes, the entire budget, I believe, was $150,000.
Okay.
We have had $22,000 for actually getting, it wasn't fiber, it was, I think, Wi-Fi to the facility, which was our biggest problem, and then which left about $125,000. So this is well under budget.
Okay.
And then the rest of those funds will be just released back to the ARPA project.
Okay.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item F2, Sheriff's Office is requesting approval to go out for RFP on the 911 Center dispatch consoles and necessary equipment upgrades for the 911 Center. This project was approved and funded by ARPA, SLFRF interest funds, Project 2021-53, with an approved total funding amount of $910,000.
Yes, Commissioners, and as you recall, earlier this year, we came to you with a request to refresh the 911 consoles and equipment at the main 911 center. We are now at that point where we're ready to go out for an RFP and bring those in, hopefully.
These consoles, they don't require any adaptation to the building itself, do they? It's just
No,
standalone units.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, they will be standalone units that can be disassembled or moved around.
Okay.
Sorry, Jennifer Sauer, Financial Administrator. I do just want to make sure that, that everyone is aware that this would be using the ARPA SLFRF interest funds, not the actual grant funds.
And that is noted on the
Yes.
agenda. So. Other questions?
Is this the type of thing that would be eligible for like a burn jag grant through the federal government?
You know, I'm not familiar with what is eligible on a burn jag grant completely.
Okay, I mean, typically it's like equipment that can be used for law enforcement. But I mean, it seems like something that this doesn't replace all of the consoles, right? It's just a portion of them.
No, it would replace all of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the consoles that we currently have are from, they're 15 years old, so they are way past their their life expectancy, and we need to have all of them replaced.
And how many were these? How many consoles?
We currently have 12 consoles. We're needing to we need to add a few because we've outgrown the center, and with the addition of our partner AMR in there, we need to provide space for them as well.
I mean, I'm fine with going out for RFP. I do think it'd be nice if we could at least explore some other funding options, though, because I think that if there are grants out there that are allocated just for law enforcement equipment, I think this is a good opportunity for that. And the ARPA interest, I think, has a lot of flexibility. We could use it for a lot of other things that don't have that opportunity. So, I mean, I move that we approve this to go out for RFP, but I highly encourage you to look at some other funding opportunities as well.
Certainly.
Motion made by Commissioner Mays,
Second.
second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item F3, Sheriff's Office is requesting approval to go out for RFP on the 911 Backup Center equipment upgrades and room expansion using ARPA SLFRF interest funds. This is a project number 2021-54, and the approved funding amount is $185,000.
This project is in conjunction with the main center. Our current 911 backup center has just as old technology as our current center does, so it is in need of equipment upgrades as well as consoles, refresh, and space for AMR as well.
I think the same notes as before as to going out for bid, but looking at our funding sources. I'll make a motion.
Oh, second. And can we combine these? I mean, is that an option? If we're going to do the exact same thing at two places, wouldn't it would be unfortunate for one of them to have one company get the bid and then another one put something completely different in?
Yeah, I just want to clarify, because I'm not sure that it is the same type of equipment at all.
It will be.
Okay.
It will be the same type of equipment. yes.
Okay, yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So motion, go ahead.
Yeah, well, there's a motion already. I'll withdraw my second.
I'll withdraw, I'll amend this to that it would be, make a motion to approve the request and that the bidding be done in conjunction with the RFP for the 911 center dispatch consoles.
What we could do, Commissioner, is have two bids, either or, and then combine it, so you actually have 3 ways to bid, and then we get to pick the cheapest.
Sold.
Okay. All right. So,
You
Madam
can
Clerk.
just add language to that bid you did, or that motion you just did.
All right.
Approve the request
I'll second that.
and that, and then either or?
Yes,
On
either or.
No, no,
Okay. So we now are going to have a motion to approve that it can be bid in multiple ways and looking at the cheapest or most economical way. And then that was seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item G, County Councilor number 1, first reading, consider approval of Home Rule Resolution number HR 2024-3, adopting the Shawnee County Code.
Good morning, Commissioners. Rich Eckert, County Councilor. This is a re-update of the county code. The first edition of this, I think, was 2006, and there was a lot of work to go into that. Those are tremendous volumes to put together. This is the newest version. This is the first reading, so we approved nothing today. This is the only printed version because, as you well know, when we pass the next resolution, this will be out of date. So we encourage everyone who wants to peruse the county code, they will use the online version. We have an ongoing contract with Civics Plus. They are the entity who helped us do this. And Civics Plus will make it much easier for us to update everything in real time. So we're very hopeful about this. This has been a big project. I did bring Tabitha Push with me, the real power behind the throne. And as I was looking at the code yesterday, and Tabitha didn't know that, Civics Plus writes this: "The publisher is most grateful to Tabitha Push, legal office manager, for her cooperation and assistance during the progress of the work on this publication. It is hoped that her efforts and those of the publisher have resulted in a code that will make the active law of the county readily accessible to all citizens and which will be a valuable tool in the day-to-day administration of the county's affairs." So I did want to point out Tabitha's great work on this project. It couldn't have been done without her. And I take no credit for anything.
Are we going to be looking at changing some of the fee structures? Does it address updating?
Yes.
Those sorts, so there may be multiple changes occurring within the code.
And that's why this is a first reading. I would suggest that everyone who thinks they might be impacted by this to have a look. We do hope to have a PDF up very soon, and before we come back for approval. But when we come back for approval, when we have the agenda go out, there'll be 3 days there for sure that people will have a chance to look at this. But in the meantime, if anybody wants to look at it, they're free to call my office, and we'll be glad to schedule an appointment and sit in a conference room and have this book.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, this is, well, I guess, yeah, so this is a process that's been going on for a couple of years now, right? Of getting this updated?
Yes, at least that long.
And it was overdue, in my opinion, right? So it's modernizing, making our county code more accessible to the public.
It makes the Google searches easier. I mean, everything is easier about this.
Yeah, so Tabitha, good work. I think it's fantastic that the vendor called you out specifically. That doesn't happen too frequently, so it's a testament to some hard work, so.
And again, this is a first reading, so there's no action that is needed on this. So, all right, thank you.
Thanks.
Our next item.
Item 5, public comment.
We do have several individuals signed up for public comment. Our first individual is Ginger Barr.
Good morning. My name is Ginger Barr, and I live at 9421 Southwest Hoke Road, Auburn, Kansas. I am here with the concerned Shawnee County residents and property owners against industrial wind and solar complexes. I have been asked to read a letter from our group, and will do so. And number one, we want to ask the county commissioners, or state to the county commissioners, we appreciate everything that you do for us. This presentation of petitions is only a courtesy to you all. We want you to know that, again, we thank you. Many of us have signed petitions, may not be able to attend this hearing or even the Planning Commission hearings that we're going to be having in the future. But we want our voices to be heard. In this box, we are going to be presenting 1,108 signed petitions to you and 1,108 against the wind and 1,089 against solar. This covers approximately 29,341 acres belonging to property owners in the county. Petitions are still being signed and turned in, so there may be more by the time of the hearing. In addition to the signed paper copies, we are providing for you convenience printed spreadsheets, one numbered as to where that they were received and one sorted alphabetically to verify that there are no duplicates. These are Shawnee County residents. Also, those files are provided for you. We've even got a flash drive for you, okay? We're trying to make things simple, okay? Also, yesterday, the same information was presented to the Topeka Planning Commission. And again, we are only here presenting this, and we'll present these items to Mrs. Beck after the meeting, and you can go through them as a courtesy to you as commissioners so you understand what is going on. If you ever have any questions, just give me a call, okay? Or anybody else. So I thank you very much for your time, and that's why we're here.
And my anticipation is that you'll be presenting this at the hearing at the Great Overland Station next week.
We will be there, and these petitions have already been given to the Planning Commission to be dispersed. So I'm not saying that we are going to take time at that particular meeting to present them. They have them. But as a courtesy to you, we wanted you all to know what we had given to the Planning Commission. We are going through the process. And so, yes, we will be there
All right.
at the,
Commissioner, that hearing is May 13th.
There's the sheet on that.
and I believe 6 o'clock.
May the 13th at 6 PM at the Great Overland Station. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
I was
Thank
off a
you so
week,
much.
so I apologize.
And thank you so much for your time. And I got a copy from you.
Okay.
Excuse me,
Oh,
I
yep.
forgot to introduce my partner. This is Wayne Kopp from Auburn, Kansas also.
Wayne Kopp is our next speaker for public comment, so if
No,
Wayne...
no, he's just here with me. I just
Oh,
wanted to
okay.
recognize him.
I had him signed up for public comment. Is there, Wayne, is there anything you want to say? All right. All right. I also have Jan Davis signed up. Do you have anything you want to add? All right. That brings us to Mr. Henry McClure. If you have any public comment?
Good morning.
All right.
Henry McClure. Thank you for having that tour of the expo hall. And that's really what I want to talk about today, but I want to get to it. Today's my birthday. But it's 9 years today being clean and sober. Now that's a birthday. So maybe at 10 years I'll come here and tell you the true story, what happened. But divine intervention is hard to understand. A friend of mine said his father had an out-of-body experience, so he believed me. But when I came back into my body, the old Henry died, and new Henry's here. So we've got a JETO meeting coming up too, and I hope by that JETO meeting we could get a copy of the notes from Go Topeka about the proposal that I brought forward 2 years ago just to extend a sewer for Pizza Hut. And yeah, you could say, well, they have 2,600 stores and they have 75,000 employees and they do 4.5 billion in sales. They can get along without that sewer. You could say that. But I've also made a core request and working with your county counselor to investigate, and I hope this information can come out real soon, hopefully before the meeting. It's probably just sitting on somebody's desk just waiting to get turned over to me. But there's like $1.1 million in gifts, grants, and scholarships that your contractor divvied out. And I recall when I went out to solicit people to support this sales tax for economic development, at the time it was all about lowering the tax base and getting land shovel ready. That was the call to action. And on the ballot, it just says economic development and a bunch of road projects. And I looked into the ballot again, and I looked into the 1.6 million given to 29th and Fairlawn, which never would have developed on its own, considering the blighted area that it is. That 1.6 million didn't have anything to do. Yes, 29th and Fairlawn is on the ballot for sales tax help, but it's to fix the road all the way to Wanamaker. So, you know, being a guy that maybe in the past has been a bit paranoid, is it just happenstance that the fella at 29th and Fairlawn who donated $150,000 to visioning got help from the economic development money, and my poor guy just trying to move a pizza at 75 feet or 675 feet couldn't get help. And so I'm going to make a commitment to the next 65 years to figure out all that. Getting stronger, healthier, You know, I'm down from 350 pounds. My daughter told me last night I still need to lose a little weight because I was a little better shape. And when your daughter tells you, it hurts, but yeah, she's right. But maintaining 220, well, with the JETO meeting coming up, there's another thing that I can't wait to see what's addressed, because since that JETO meeting, I've got to know that James Bolden Jr., who made a presentation. And I've had him on a couple of podcasts, and he's just a down-to-earth hard worker. And he's got quite an interesting story about his family being treated kind of poorly out at the Air Force Base, his father. And one thing I really like about James, he goes, man, he goes, I didn't know white people could be discriminated on until I met you. And so is it just coincidence that none of the projects that I've ever brought forward never get any economic development? Or is it a conspiracy? I don't know. But I got 65 years again to find out. I was born July 13th, 59, in Stormont Vale, and I've listened to all this stuff about Topeka and growing and what we're gonna do. And now with this head, it's hard to take, because it's all a bunch of sophistry. It's just a bunch of yapping. You kind of got to look at economic development and pornography the same. You know pornography when you see it. But I know what's not economic development. I've spent my whole life in projects. I've probably renovated on the private sector $400 million in projects. And what we've got going on is just a slush fund for the Greater Topeka Partnership. They're the pro team. This is the farm club. Look at the people that they're working there. There's people that, one girl doesn't have any experience, but $3.5 million to fund that group alone is not economic development. And I've listened to some of their speeches. Well, they talk about the ROI. Hey, you're not there to invest that money like Charles Schwab. So let's define what economic development is. We would be better off as a community just to take $5 million and put it all in the expo hall. How many times? I'm sick of people the whole time. Anyway, people that are small-minded that get bored. So let's try to help the small-minded people and have more events and activities for them. So you could dump $5 million over into the expo hall, or why it's called St. Francis or Stormont Vale. I mean, if they can go out and name places, they can pay taxes, but that's a whole nother subject. But if you put money into that, you could start getting a return on your investment. So, and why don't you ask your contractor about their personal ROI? How do you make it? You know how I got away with all the stuff I did in my lifetime? Because I made my clients money. They didn't care. They didn't care some of my antics. Some of them are playing along, having a good time side by side. But those days are over. So we gotta figure out how we get a return on our investment. And slowly but surely, this is kind of catching on. And when people are telling me, keep going down there, keep talking, keep trying. You say sometimes things that we're thinking. Sometimes they're thinking the wrong thing, but today, we've got to start looking at growing our taxes. We're going to be we'd be better off giving $5 million to the sheriff, relocating, getting new upgraded equipment, because what's going on in our country, we're a border state. And I can tell you right now that personal security and safety is economic development. But what we do is we don't put enough money into it to where people want to stay here. and people wanted, I was sober when I moved home. I had a pretty good run, and sometimes I wonder why I come back, why I came back. But maybe I'm here to recycle Topeka. In the Mace Rich Company, we became the 3rd largest mall owner in the country, but we recycled the old malls. The old rich guys didn't know what to do with them, and we had energy, and we went in and fixed them. But we need to redo how we do economic development. And if the even playing field, I'll quit. Everybody said, well, you're just trying to get that money so you can do deals. Well, yeah, the Pizza Hut deal would have paid for itself in 2 years. You'd have made $100,000 on the Pizza Hut deal, just getting the sewer. But if we took all the money and said, economic development now is going to be to put it into the expo hall or fund the sheriff. So take it, every deal can happen deal by deal. That's what you guys make me do, but I got to get the government out of the real estate business. I'll tell you what the best thing was. I got invited in late to the party, to the hotel deal. A friend of mine brought in a deal to buy the hotel for 7.6 million, which they got in it. And I'll tell you, this is going to be one of those cases where the first offer was the best offer. They should have never offered it. It's not even worth that. There's just no way. But I looked at this guy's financial statements. This dude's got some cash. Let's roll with him. So right now I've got 3 deals working with him in a whole different, in Topeka. But I tell you, and you don't have to go through the dance of, hey, we don't own the city. But you know, you guys, we're all in the county. And you guys should be advocates. You're 3 votes over in Jetto. You guys should be advocates of little guys like me that want to try to do deals. Because if you looked at Shawnee County like a mall, let's fill the middle. We got our anchors. But maybe we should enhance our anchor, the expo hall, for the good of everybody. I was really impressed by that place. I'm thinking about, you know, if I can ever get Whataburger across the finish line, I might want to buy one of those tables. But Chick-fil-A and Whataburger coming to town, there's a sign on our property that says, improvements by Bring Back the Boulevard. Well, who are these guys and what money did we get? Where do I've never met anybody, had never been to a meeting to Bring Back the Boulevard. But the arrogance of them putting a sign on there that they had anything to do with it, it's revolting. But, you know, we've come to you guys and asked for help. I was at a Jetto meeting. You know, one guy was there and stood up and he wanted to try to put the deal together last time. But the guys that are actually bringing back the boulevard aren't getting support. It's the insanity of that makes Topeka, it's why Topeka doesn't grow. Because what it's about who's doing the deal and who's going to profit. So, happy birthday on the Saturday.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, it's fun. You know, the story is a miracle. That's what it is. It's a miracle. And I pray to God every day. I thank God for that miracle. And there ain't anybody that needs churching more than Henry McClure, but I'm telling you something, y'all do. Because you'll pay for your transgressions. Ken Corbett got your attention. He did. He got your attention. And I'm not saying that's the way to do business, but the way things are going, it's time to change. And you're talking to a guy and you're looking at a guy that knows change better than anybody. You know, some of it's self-discipline. Some of it's, you know, just showing up. Half of winning is showing up. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Keep having those birthdays. I hope to get some feedback from you, sir. Hope you talk to Joe Ledbetter about 49th Street, because that's been an ongoing thing. And Bill, you're a good man. Thank you.
Is there anybody else who would like to make any public comment? Public comment. Yeah.
Morning, Commissioners. Mark Price, Top City Half Marathon. This past Saturday, we had our 5th annual Top City Half Marathon and 5K, which was presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield. This was our 4th real year in person. Earlier this year, you guys gave us some of the transient guest tax money to help promote it, which we did a little bit of promotion, looking to do a lot more this fall for our next year race. But I just want to give you kind of an idea of what we had, and also thank emergency management. Leading up to a Saturday morning event in Topeka was a very nerve-wracking endeavor this year. But thanks to Dusty and his people, they did a great job of keeping me informed, helping me know what to tell my participants. Because the last thing I wanted to have was 500 people running around the city and streets of Topeka with a lightning storm and tornado. And we got extremely lucky. Some of the runners weren't extremely happy about the humidity the storms brought in, but they suffered through that and did complete the race. Like I said, we got very lucky with the weather, and a lot of that, being able to inform our runners was a big piece to Dusty and his crew. But like I said earlier, we had 590 runners come this year. This is our biggest year ever. That includes runners from 19 different states, including Germany. We had people from Florida, a lady from North Carolina who this was her 49th half marathon, or 49th state that she had hit and run a half marathon in, and she was from here going to be doing her final 50th state in Hawaii. Spoke with her. We also had 2 people come in from San Bernardino, I think, or Santa Cruz, California, a husband and wife. They, talked to them before the race about how excited they were to come to Kansas. I don't think they'd ever actually been to Topeka before. And after the race, we spoke with them, and they were talking about coming back. They really saw this as a destination event, and we're looking forward to being able to come back again. The one that shocked me is we talked to a couple from Kansas City who were came down for the weekend, staying in the Cyrus. They were planning on going out and getting some fried pies out in Air Alma, but had used our race as a reason to come and spend a weekend visiting Topeka and seeing stuff around Topeka. Like I say, the money we got from the transient guest tax was extremely helpful in, starting advertise this event this year, and we look forward to using it in the next year. And again, I want to thank your staff that you allowed to help us out.
Thank you, Mark, for putting that on and organizing all of that. That was a lot of work.
It's not just me. We have a board of different people throughout Topeka. It's a big event that takes a lot of volunteers and our board to make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Any next item.
Item 6, administrative communications.
Any administrative communications this morning?
Good morning, Commissioners. Kellen Seitz, Stormont Vale Event Center and Oakview Group. We've got a busy few weeks coming up and some exciting announcements. This weekend we have Top City Taco Loco with Lucha Libre Wrestling, the Luchador Masked Wrestlers. It's going to be an exciting event. That's on Saturday from noon to 4. Yesterday, we just announced our summer concert in conjunction with Shawnee County Fair. That's going to be 38 Special on July 25th. So we're very excited about that. That is on pre-sale right now. It goes on sale tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. In addition, next week we have Zach Williams' Christian concert on Wednesday the 8th. And then on Saturday the 11th, we've got Hairball in the building. So exciting concert mix over the next 2 weeks. And then in 2 weeks from there, we've got basically just about all of the Shawnee County High School graduations taking place on Saturday and Sunday. So it's going to be a ramped up busy weekend. Look forward to seeing a lot of the community members out at the facilities this weekend.
All right, thank you.
Tim Lorette, Parks and Recreation. This morning I want to take a minute or two to talk about and to honor Susan Fowler Hensler. So As many of you know, Susan worked for Shawnee County Parks and Recreation for 33 years before she retired in September of 2022. After a brief battle with cancer, Susan passed away on April 28th of this year. She was surrounded by loved ones, and she was only 64 years old. Before joining our team, Susan worked for the National Park Service and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. I don't know if a lot of people know this about Susan, but she traveled the country battling wildfires in Northern California, studying bats at Carlsbad Caverns in New Mexico, and leading tours of the Washington Monument, the Vietnam Memorial, and Jefferson Memorial in Washington, D.C. Then she needed a real challenge, so she joined Shawnee County Parks and Recreation Department. She started with us in 1989, and for over 3 decades, she devoted herself to enhancing the community's quality of life through innovative programs and really thoughtful leadership. As a recreation superintendent, Susan's influence touched every aspect of the department, from running day camps and after-school programs to overseeing community centers and aquatics. Her commitment to collaboration and cooperation amplified Parks and Recreation's impact on the community, and it's a testament to her visionary leadership. I didn't write this down, but because it's hard to articulate Susan's impact on not just the community, but on staff that are currently in our department and staff that have since left. I've heard from so many people that worked for Shawnee County Parks and Recreation or worked for other departments in the state that got to know Susan through her years of working with us and being part of Kansas Recreation and Parks Association. So she's a legend, she really is. And anyway, her graveside service will be held on Saturday, May 25th at 10 a.m. at Pleasant Hill Cemetery in Barrington. And then following that, there'll be a celebration of life at her home here in Topeka, and which is close to Collins Park. And I believe there'll be signage up in Collins Park directing people to her house. But just want to take a minute to really honor Susan.
Yeah. She may have been small in stature, but her legend was not.
There you go. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Larry Moll, Shawnee County Treasurer. Just a friendly reminder, taxes are due for the second half on May the 10th, which is just a week from tomorrow. You have several ways to pay your taxes. You can pay online, by mail, in person. We do have drop boxes at the courthouse, and you can drop at the annex on 17th Street, and we will accept cash, check, or credit card. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Good morning, Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. And Tim, my heart goes out to you and your staff. I've worked with Susan on many different projects with the jail and even in the community, and she was, her work ethic was unmatched. She will definitely be missed. The reason I'm here today is that starting May 5th through the 11th, we recognize National Correction Officers Week. Former President Ronald Reagan established this week in May 5th in 1984. He saw the need to create a week for corrections officers and all those who serve in a correctional setting to thank them for their services and celebrate their contributions to society. Correctional staff have the difficult and often dangerous job and assignment ensuring the custody and safe care of those who were remanded to their custody. And their position is very essential to the day-to-day operations to these institutions and the self and well-being of our communities, and foremost the institutional goals and values that we have. We spend a tremendous amount in Shawnee County on corrections. United States as a whole is one of the biggest budgets that's out there. There's a tremendous need. It takes special people to work in those positions. For the day-and-day operation. I'm truly blessed to be in this with Shawnee County for 35 years and then another 2 years with behavioral health. But what an honor it is to serve you all and to serve the Department of Corrections, to be the director. I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for the staff that I work with. We will have our staff appreciation next Thursday and Friday, to where we pay for it ourselves, the captains and above, including me. We pay for it out of our own pockets to celebrate and to provide food and be on site for all 3 shifts. So we're there for almost 24 hours. Thank you to our staff. So I just wanted to make sure that we recognize that and thank you all for your tremendous support. You all are on site with graduations. You come over, even on your off time, to come over to see staff, to see how things are going. That means a tremendous amount to me and our community. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Brian. Hey, Brian, could you send an email on the staff recognition?
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Sutton, Shawnee County Solid Waste. This Saturday is Aaron Mays' 31st birthday, and in celebration, we're opening up that HHW for our Saturday collection event. So come on out and help celebrate his birthday. By getting rid of your
paint, whatever you got, bring it out.
Bring out all your
Mercury.
household waste. E-waste. It's a recycling location too for cardboard and glass. So come on out from 9 until noon. Location is 131 Northeast 46th Street. And for more information, please call 286-4381. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Any other administrative communications?
Good morning, Commissioners. Joni Fedani, Director of the Planning Department. Kind of an unanticipated stop coming through here today to remind you that we have our public hearing for the wind and solar coming up on May 13. It starts at 6 p.m. We'll be at Great Overland Station. It's a change of location, so we want to make sure and notate that it's not going to be at the North Annex like it would have typically been. It will be at Great Overland Station, 6 p.m., May 13. It's a Monday evening. And just wanted to notate, since Ms. Barr had come and had talked with you guys about the petitions, we are in receipt of the petitions. They were delivered to our office on Tuesday morning. And so I've reviewed all of those, and we have a copy of them, and we will make sure that the planning commissioners have access to that, as well as can take part of and notate that as a part of their discussions and decisions that are potentially made on May 13th.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Mark Price wants to remind me, it will be live streamed, so if you're not able to attend, please go see the YouTube channel. You can watch it over the live stream.
Thank you. Any other administrative communications? Commissioner Rippon?
Nothing to add.
Commissioner Mays?
Well, I mean, it sounds like we kind of dodged a bullet a little bit on the weather lately, so, you know, it's that time of year, so everybody stay aware of the weather. Other than that, I don't really have much. Thank you for the happy birthday song. I really appreciate that.
I would note that last Saturday, the commissioners did help do the annual Combat Air Museum pancake fundraiser with celebrities. It's a high mark in your life, I suppose, when you're a celebrity. So I also want to recognize Juliet Abdel with the Topeka Chamber of Commerce is here today. I know that she has been hard at work this last legislative session, getting to know Topeka and Shawnee County, and then she has her first legislative listen on this Friday at the Cyrus, where she has a host of people coming in to talk on a number of topics. And so I believe it's sold out. Is it correct? Correct. Okay. And then next week, we have our JADO meeting on Wednesday at 6 p.m. That will be in the city chambers. I don't have anything additional. Our next item.
Item 7, executive session.
There is a need for an executive session today. It will be matters relating to employee or employee negotiations, whether or not in consultation with the representative or representatives of the body or agency. And this will be to discuss ongoing negotiations with Teamsters, the Fraternal Order of Police, and the Communication Workers of America for not to exceed 20 minutes. Is there?
Second.
Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion passes 3-0. No action is anticipated. Start time, I would say, give us 10:25,
In the total amount of time?
20 minutes.
20 minutes, okay. I missed it.
So we are in executive session. We are back from executive session. No action is taken. We are adjourned.